Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's session of Ask Zak. And tonight's session we're talking about flies and how to control flies. We can see and feel the season has changed, and that's of course a clear signal for our pests like flies to become active and of course reproduce. And that has a lot of implications for you as a farmer. Now, flies can be carriers of diseases, and they can irritate the animals to such a point that it influences your animal's production. And that's the last place where you want to be. And there are a few ways that we can use to make it easier for animals. We cannot eliminate flies completely, but we can lessen the load on our animals. So first of all, if we look at our stationary systems, things like chicken pens, pig pens, and of course feedlots, what we want to do there, because there's a lot of manure, that's an ideal place for flies to be, is we want to intercept as many as we can that's on their way. Now what we do with that is, of course, we use a red top flycatcher or any type of flycatcher. Remember, if the fly goes in and it dies in there, it cannot lay eggs and reproduce. So we usually put our red top flycatchers or any form of flycatcher around about our chicken houses, pig houses, or feedlots, just to try and catch as many as humanly possible. Now a lot of people ask, is there not something I can spray? Well, yes and no. You can use cypermethrin if you spray the walls of your chicken house or your piggery. That's safe to use there on the walls, but do not let it make contact with the animal or their food or water, because it is still a poison and can affect them negatively. So those areas you can spray, but only if it doesn't touch the animals. Very, very important. The next step, of course, that we can do is with our livestock, with our cattle, sheep and goats, is to look at what kind of dip we use. Amitraz is a very nice dip to use, but it has no fly control. So we look more at something like your Cooper's Redline. That's a flumetrine that helps with fly control. Or you can look at maybe something like a cypermethrin base or a deltamethrin base of that you get a combination of deltamethrin and Amitraz, and that means you get a good effect on your ticks, but it also works on your animals. So be aware of it. Go look at what the product says. It will state clearly if it can be used for fly control. And last but not least, a small thing that you can maybe put into your feed, and this is a tip for your layer farmers. There's a product we call Larvadex. Now Larvadex is basically a feed additive that you put in feed, and when the chicken can consume it, but as soon as it comes out in the feces, any fly that lays its eggs or whose larva is present in the feces, they will die. The Larvadex prevents the growth of flies. Now Larvadex is an expensive product and you don't get it around every corner, but we have a simple way of assisting you. We already make layer feed containing Larvadex. You only need to ask for it at your nearest depot so that they can special order it for you if you're a layer farmer and you're struggling with flies. And it's not much, it's about R5 a bag, a little bit more expensive than the standard range, but it's going to make your life and your animals' lives so much easier. So there's quite a few things to talk about when it comes down to our flies, but pop into your nearest Ols one-stop shop. Get in contact with your nearest technical advisor. We are there to help. We're here to give advice. So our advice is free, and of course we want to empower our farmers. So from my side, up till next week, same time, same place. Have a good evening.